We're all here for one reason. And what's that reason? Mito, mitochondrial disease. We all have something in common. We are all searching for a cure, whether it be for research, whether it be for the patient, but ultimately we are all looking to get there. And everyone in this room is here to help us. And for that, I'm really grateful. Being the mother of a child of Mito, who's now 9 years old, for me to see where this has come and where I was 9 years ago to where I am now, we're talking to other countries, we're trying to make connection with other countries, we're working together, and we're getting there. It's slow, it's difficult, but we will do it, because we can do it. And I just go back to 9 years ago with my daughter sitting in Manilva, in a little house, in a village, in the middle of nowhere really. No, not many people who know where Manilva is, not close to any city, any capital, and sitting there with my Talia and feeding her with a pipette, and she wasn't putting on weight, and she was very floppy, and thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And it's then when I realized, actually, we are lucky to be born today. We are lucky because there is so much technological advancement. And at that time, when I couldn't leave the house, I searched on the internet, I used my computer, and I looked and I looked and I looked. And that's when I came across the UMDF. Obviously, because English is my first language, I started by looking in English, which is why I didn't find Aepmi then. So I found the UMDF. And through the UMDF, I made a friend in Australia, a friend in America, and we chatted, and we chatted, and I didn't feel alone anymore. And I think and then after that, I started getting a little bit more confident, learning a bit more Spanish, getting a bit more confident with the terms. At first it was just too much for me. And then I looked at, I met someone who actually met Fatima and Javier, put me in touch with them, and so we got together, and lo and behold, I'm here, and we're part of Aepmi. So what I'm saying is that it's amazing how networks work. And I think that it's so important to see, not only on a national level, but also on a global level. So one of the things we're really lucky to see these days is technological advancement. I think this has really improved our lives. I think it has a long way to go. It can be scary at times. But if you look at it, in every different section of this, it's only going to help us. So if you look at, for example, the research and development side, or if you look at diagnosis, we're actually getting better and better. I mean, before, when Tali was born, it was only a muscle biopsy. I mean, I remember Julia Montoya working with her. And now we're able to go to exome. So we're going to get more diagnosis. It can only get better. And with more information, we're going to get there. So I think it's really interesting how this has happened. But I also think this has led to something else. And what it's led to is patient-centeredness. And the great thing is that there's a changing paradigm. Because now, the patient is more and more accepted as being a clear stakeholder at the beginning, a key decision maker. And I think it's very exciting because we can actually make a difference. Scary sometimes. You know, we turn up at workshops and think, what am I going to say? But actually, we have a lot to say because we really live the disease, we really know the disease. So by having this patient-centered approach, what we find is that the grounds, everything's opening for us. For example, if you look at different organizations, they're actually starting to include patients at the beginning stages of their trial. So we're very lucky today to have stealth biotherapeutics here. And actually one of the things they're doing while they're here is actually doing a workshop with some of us to look at how can patients get involved at the beginning. How can we do trials that are going to be better focused to patients? Because what's the point of designing a trial that is not going to be good for the patient? It helps both sides. I think it's a win-win situation. We work together and we look towards clinical trials. Clinical trials become cheaper. It's easier to recruit. We have standard information. We have standard data. and the patient is part of it. And at the end of the day, there's no point in doing anything if at the end of the day we're not going to be the end user. Wasted money, wasted time. So I think it's really good the way things are changing. Now look at the IMP countries. The good thing about the IMP is, if you look at us, all as individual countries, really, we can do a lot nationally, we can do a lot alone, but the minute we come together, it's a bit different. We can really make a difference in numbers, especially with rare disease. Because in rare disease, the prevalences are usually very, very low. It's difficult. It's difficult for researchers to get the information. It's difficult for them to gather it from different countries. So by having a patient registry and using a tool like this, we can actually all link together. Now these figures, okay, some people will probably say you can't use that prevalence rate. I've used 1 in 6,000. Some people have told me it's actually 1 in 4 of Mito patients. But just to give you an idea, if you look here, if everyone in that prevalence rate was diagnosed, which is not really the case, but we're moving towards that because genetic sequencing is getting better, so we should prepare to get towards that. And if you look there, if you look at Spain, you know, 1 in 6,000 would be looking at 7,867. But if you look at all the countries together, just in the IMP, and we will get loads more members before then, we've got 122,113. Now, okay, these figures are, okay, a little bit fictitious, I've kind of worked with it, but if you look at it, you can just get the idea of what I'm talking about. We can make a big difference. So basically, you imagine putting us all in a pot. I quite enjoy doing this. And the basic message that comes across all of us is this. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. And working together is success. And that was a phrase used by Henry Ford. And I think we can really take a lot from that phrase. Thank you. I'll pass over to Hannah.
Sino porque todo esto no hubiera sido posible sin ella. O sea, no lo va a decir ella, pero... Bueno, pues como llevamos mucho rato sentados,